All right, bringing it back to the episode. One other thing I thought was cool that they also like bring back in season one and season two, or in season one, we see Eve kind of searching for Dr. Brandyworth, and at one point she goes back to the community center that her and Amber volunteer at in season
Oh,
one.
right, right, right.
That's really cool. I really love these like small details that they come back to.
Mhm. And it's also um something interesting because Brandyworth, when she actually meets him, he's kind of just like this homeless guy,
Mhm.
which is sad. Kind of just he just appears to her in like her yard or something.
It's after
So
she fights those guys who were gonna like release the dogs.
oh yeah, yeah, yeah. And then he shows up there, and he's like tells her that she's adopted and tells her not to use her powers. But I think it's interesting that he kind of becomes like this homeless guy, and when we see that he tells Eve that her mom was like a colleague who volunteered for this, but
Hmm.
we see that she was actually just like some homeless woman that they paid her to, I guess, undergo the pregnancy, which is kind of just like just morally kind of effed up.
Yeah.
Uh, but and now he's like this homeless guy. Yeah. Yeah, that's a pretty like just kind of a just the fact that they like just grabbed her off the streets and like ate her and then she ends up well, I guess she doesn't die. They like keep her alive and she is used to like birth her siblings, who we'll talk about in just a sec.
Yeah.
But yeah, just a
God.
dark universe.
Yeah. And again, like it's so impressive that Eve like decides to take all this and like be a superhero versus like a villain. So,
Yeah, yeah. I feel like maybe part of it's because they send her to like live with the Wilkins and
oh yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah. It brings it back to like the humanness of it all.
yeah, because I'm thinking of like Homelander and how his whole like background is just like kind of made up, right?
Yeah.
And he just grows up with like serious issues. But clearly, like as much as like her dad specifically kind of sucks, like clearly they did like a decent enough job at
Yeah.
raising her for her to be pretty normal and like well intentioned. Um, yeah. Again, like I think if I had her powers, I don't think I'd be Homelander or anything. But like I feel like I'd be way more selfish. Or like just way more like how can this benefit me in capitalistic America? Like how can I advance myself? She has very like pure.
Hmm. We love her. We love her. One thing I also love about Adam Eve is she has like some of the greatest lines of dialogue in this show. When she's fighting Kill Cannon, he's like, "Sorry, kid, you're just not made for this." And she goes, "I literally was made for this." Uh,
Yeah.
so I love how like sassy she is, and like she knows that she is like this really cool like person. Um,
Yeah. She kind of she really embraces her abilities
mhm.
because it's sick. I think that's another thing like watching her like as a kid in this episode and like what it's like when someone who's like 12 realizes they have like these cool powers. Like it's awesome.
Mhm.
Because we don't see Mark get his powers till he's like 18. And it is still cool, but it's definitely a bit older.
Yeah.
I think like developing your powers at like a younger age would be even like, you know, everything's so awesome. when you're younger, and so I feel like
Yeah.
especially getting superpowers, like it'd be cool.
And we'll talk about it a little bit more later on, but it's just like it says a lot to like how Eve kind of had to mature a lot faster than Invincible because she did
Yeah.
have like these parents who didn't like fully
Right.
care about her the way that like Debbie and Nolan in a way kind of care about him. So
Yeah.
I think that's like something that she just had to become really independent. Um, so maybe that like is why she got her powers a lot sooner than he did.
Yeah. I guess. Yeah. That's a good observation. Yeah, I think her character is just yeah, very independent. Um yeah, not that she necessarily had like a from what we see like a rough upbringing. It's just definitely a different, not as loving as Debbie and Nolan seem to have been. Um and maybe not as I feel like I don't know if the Wilkins are like as I don't think they're as like high income as the Graysons. I feel like that's the vibe I get.
Yeah.
Um, I'm
She
pretty
had a
sure
lot
that.
of Legos though.
What'd you say?
She had a lot of Legos though.
That's true. It's true. Yeah, but also her mom serving her like cream cheese and olive sandwich.
She doesn't have a tree house.
Yeah,
All right. Let's talk about Eve essentially like having to fight her siblings.
yeah. Um, her siblings are I think there's four of them, and the guy says that they're each like the next attempt. Um, which is like he says like they're all less successful versions of her. Was
Mhm.
she like was she like the pretty perfect like result? Like were they trying to achieve something even better? Because I feel like she's pretty, I guess, ideal as like
Well, I think it's because like she like kind of like escaped. So I think they were trying to recreate her without the help of Dr. Brandyworth.
right, right. And they did not do as good of a job.
No.
Yeah, all of her siblings, only one of them even talks.
Yeah.
The rest, they're just like mute. Um, Pretty like gross, straight out of Resident Evil characters. And then I think Eve notes that, they can like manipulate like their like body and in a like she can't do that. And
Yeah.
that and then it's revealed like that Brandyworth like implanted this like mental block. Because he had some sort of I guess he did have some sort of moral compass.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah. This whole scene is just like kind of it's really cool to watch because we see like Eve kind of like see her own full potential. And like at one point she makes herself like an Adam Eve like armor suit, which is really cool.
oh
Um,
yeah.
so it's definitely a cool scene, but when you like take a step back and consider that she's like fighting her siblings, it's really sad. And it's just sad that they want to kill her just because she's a better version of her when like they should be trying to like team up and kill like Erickson and that other guy.